So we're doing something. We're gonna start doing more of these live streams just randomly. They're gonna be later at night because I wait till my daughter's in bed before I do any of this kind of stuff. So she's a toddler, so you know how that goes. Sometimes they stay up real late. But today we're gonna talk about an amp that I got. So as you know, I've got this, right? You've seen this before. This is the Marshall Master Lead Combo, and I really like this amp. It's similar to this that has a second channel, an effects loop, and a foot switch. And so I looked every day for over a year. Those amps exist, of course, but they were usually too expensive. I didn't want to pay like $200 for that. I was looking for something under $100, and I found this. This is the G50R CD. You guys might remember these amps back in the 90s. These came out after the valve states, and they're, solid state amps. They have really bad reputation, but I found it for like less than $60. So I was like, what the heck? I might as well pull the trigger on it and see how it is. So it came today. I haven't really messed with it much, but if you look at it, it's basically the same as the Master Lead Combo, except it's got a boost channel with its own separate EQ section. It has a foot switchable second channel, and it also has an effects loop and a foot switch. So it has everything I wanted. It's 50 watts, so it's actually more wattage than that Master Lead. I'm sure the Master Lead is a better amp, but this one may be better for gigging so that I can switch back and forth. So today what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of go through my first impressions of this, and then we are going to work on it a little bit. I want to add a speaker out. We're going to do that live. And then I'm going to set my pedal board up with it and just try to get it sounding good for this weekend, because I do intend to gig this amp this weekend. So let me get my tripod here. Hey, what's up? Hope you're doing well. All right, let's, there we go. Hopefully this sounds okay. So let's see how it goes. I don't know what to expect. I have no idea. I turned it on to make sure that it worked earlier today. That's about it. So I really don't know what to expect here. I'm using, by the way, hold on, this guitar. This is my Strat. Hey! My ear's doing, wow, this is so zoomed in. I gotta scoot down. My ear's doing a little bit better. So I have this hearing test YouTube video that I watch all the time, and what it is it's frequency ranges. It starts at like 100 hertz and then it goes up. So when this all started, once it got to about 5,000 hertz, I couldn't hear in my right ear anymore. Last night when I did it, it was at about 10,000. So it's like my hearing is doubly better than it was, but it's still bad, and I have ringing. This is not the one I used contact cleaner on. So if you missed it at the very beginning, I wanted one just like it that had a second channel, a foot switch, and an effects loop. So I went and found this one. So this one is, I hope, the same. I don't really know. We're gonna test it out right now though. I'm gonna flip the camera back around. All right, let's fire it up. This is a clean setting. I really like the way that sounds clean. It sounds awesome. What kind of pick do I use? I use Max Grip 1.5. That reverb sounds good too. Is that sound coming through okay for you guys? I don't like using my phone to record this stuff. I wish I could use my microphone. But is that sound of that amp coming through okay? Okay, cool. I'm gonna put it on the bridge now, on that clean setting. All right, it's got a great clean setting, so I really don't have anything else to say about that part. I think that sounds really good. The gain is at about 9 o'clock on the clean setting. Let's put it on the overdrive channel, see how it does. Wow, this thing kicks ass. I hope it comes through okay on the microphone for you. Sometimes my mic on my phone does weird things when I'm trying to stream like this. But that sounds kick ass here in the garage. I saw a message, how old is it? It is, my estimation tells me that it is from the 90s. I believe it came out in like 99, 98, something like that. These things are a dime a dozen usually if you can find them. It's basically the same amp as the G50. It just doesn't have the effects built into it. Thank you, I appreciate that. I don't know, I don't know, I'm surprised, guys. I'm surprised at how good this sounds, I really am. I'm gonna turn the reverb off, and let's listen to it straight. Man, that's kick-ass. Woo! That's exactly what I was looking for. I'm so excited. It is 100% transistor. There are no tubes in it at all. I will say my first impression when I opened the box, this thing weighs nothing. It is very light. I thought it was gonna sound terrible because of how light it was. And the reputation. These MG solid state amps, like this isn't technically an MG, it's a G50 or whatever, but they usually have a terrible reputation. I don't know why, guys. I mean, this is loud as shit, and it's only on, the volume is on 1 on the overdrive channel. And it's loud as shit. It sounds awesome. Let's go on the neck pickup real quick and test that out. And then we're gonna flip it around and see if we can add a speaker out to it, because I wanna use my 2x12 with this amp. That was the other reason I wanted to get it, was to mod it. So I have my doubts of how the neck position is gonna sound on this because I have the gain cranked up so high. But let's see. Yes, you can. Let me see if I can flip this around. Okay, I'm gonna back up a bit. All right, I'm gonna flip it back around now so you can see the amp. Okay, so there's the unofficial first impression. Let me turn it off. My first impressions are, holy shit. That's my first impression. I thought these amps were supposed to be terrible. And it's not terrible. It's actually good. I'm gigging this amp this weekend. I'm gonna gig this amp for the next several weekends. It does what I need it to do. All right, I'm gonna take my guitar off and then we're gonna flip the amp around and we're gonna do some surgery on it real quick. Because I can't own anything without immediately tearing it apart. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Let me show you something. So, if you remember, we did something with the other Marshall, like a long time ago. I'm gonna drop this camera way down so you can see what I'm talking about. If you remember, we added a speaker out mod to this by making a little box. You guys remember that? So what I did was I created this little Frankenstein box. Basically, the amp goes into this side, and the speaker is on this side, so that I could unplug this cable and plug it into a cab and bypass the internal speaker. This jank little box that I drilled holes into, this little piece of plastic. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna take this off of this amp and put it on the other amp. It should be really easy. So the way that I wired this was with spade connectors so that it would be really easy to move it around if I needed to. So let me take the tape off. Okay, there's one. You gotta get the other one off now. It's stuck on there real good. I taped it because I didn't want the contacts to touch each other because then you could short it out, right? So, taking off the tape. Okay, tape's off. There, that's one half. And then this half goes onto the speaker itself. There we go, so it's free. And just so that I don't forget, I am gonna take these and I'm going to plug them in directly to the speaker so that I don't try to turn it on later and it doesn't do anything. And I'll say, why isn't it doing anything? Well, there. And there we go. And that's why I didn't drill into the amp. I wanted to be able to move that little thing and then also be able to wire this back up the way that it was. So now, this amp is rewired exactly the way it was before with the spade connectors. If you haven't watched that video, check it out. It's a pretty easy mod, and you can do it to pretty much any amp. So, all right. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to connect that little box that we just looked at to the new amp. So I got to find a place to stick the thing and make sure the cables are long enough. They are. So I think I'm going to stick it like right here. Or right, I don't know, something like that, maybe. I don't know, I'll figure it out. I'm just gonna stick it on this bottom panel right here so that it's tucked away and safe. I don't have to worry about it getting knocked around or anything. Yeah, that's how I'm gonna do it. All right, so I have Velcro on one side, so I'm gonna grab my Velcro tape, which I have laying over here, and I'm gonna cut a little piece off of my Velcro tape. Okay, and then we're gonna stick it where we want to stick it. There we go. All right, now we just got to decide where we want to put this. So, you can't put it there. I could put it, it'll reach. Yeah, it won't reach if I do it there. I don't want to cover the vent up on the top. I don't want to have it stuck there. So, this is going to be the only spot, I think. Maybe I'll put it right here. Yeah, that'll work. I'm going to stick it right there. You guys think that's a good spot for it? I could always move it. It's just Velcro tape. So let me get that off here. Hope it works. Okay. There we go. That'll do. Okay. So I'm going to undo the spade connectors. Positive is on the left. I need to remember that. And negative is on the right. So connect like so. And connect like so. Oh, that's real loose. I might have to take that down or something. Actually, I have a crimper. I'll crimp it down. Okay, so there's that part. And then we got to connect the spades here. This might need some surgery because I think the spades are too tight. So let me grab I got something I think I can use to widen that a little bit. These may not work for what I want to do. You just do what you can with what's within arm's reach, you know? I got this little screwdriver. I bet I could pry it open a little bit with that. There we go. I think that'll do it. Alright, let's see if that works. Almost. No cigar. I might have to lock these off and use put a new connector on it. I mean, we'll see, but that's what it's starting to look like right now. Sorry if this is boring. That's the nature of doing this as a live stream, is that I can't cut. I have to just do it live. Oh, it's so close to fitting. It doesn't fit. Well, we may have to do this part later. Sorry. I can still set up my board though. Really, all I need to do is put new connectors on here that are smaller, because these speaker connectors are too small. See? Oh well, that's okay, we tried. We'll do it later. Not a big deal. Alright. So, let's flip it back around. In fact, I think I'm going to put it on the floor, because now we're going to go over my pedal board. So let me move the camera a little bit. All right, and get my power cable right here. Plug it back in. Okay, it's plugged back in, and that's good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to get my pedal board out, and we're going to go over the pedal board. And try to get a good sound from it. So I'm going to find a good angle for this thing. I'm sorry, again, I'm sorry that this is all disjointed, but that's the nature of live, is that things aren't always smooth and quick. You gotta get stuff ready. All right, that angle will work right there. Okay, let me get my board. Okay, here we go. This is the board I'm using right now. It's got a bunch of cheapo pedals on it, and I like it that way. We'll go over what all these things do, but really the goal here is to get it set up. So let's hook it up. And then I'll go over each of these things and tell you what they are, what I use them for. Before we hook this up, I'm going to tell you right now, I know that I'm not going to need this. This is like a JCM distortion pedal. I'm not going to use it because there's a good built-in distortion. I'm actually going to replace it with this one. This is the Inferno. This is like a stupid high gain pedal. I only use this for one song when we play, but it's fun. I like it. Okay. Come on. There we go. All right. Pardon the janky board. That's just the way it is. All right. So the way I have this set up, it was originally set up to have everything went into the front of the amp. Everything was connected together, and then it all went into the front of the amp because I only had one channel on the Marshall, right? But since this has an effects loop, I'm actually going to change this. So half of this stuff is going to go straight into the front, and the other half of this stuff is going to go in the loop. So what's going to go where? Well, if we go through it, I've got a tuner. That's the very first thing that I want my guitar to hit. So that's going to be first. Then we're going to go to my phaser, flange, synth, and chorus. Those things are all going to go in front of the amp. In my experience, those kind of pedals sound better in the front of your amp. The things I'm going to put in the effects loop are the tube screamer, the distortion pedal, the delay, and the reverb, which I'm not going to use because I actually like the reverb that's built into this amp, and the booster. The reason you put those in the effects loop is if you put these at the front of the amp and you have your preamp turned up really high, any of your pedals that affect volume are going to make it sound blown out and make it sound absolutely horrible. So you want to put that in your effects loop so that it's boosting the signal that's already run through the preamp. So it's literally just applying the effect and the volume changes to the end result to the speaker instead of at the beginning of the amp. It's like trying to force 800 gallons of water through a little straw, right? It'd be easier to force it down the pipe at the end instead of the straw at the beginning. So that's kind of the way to think about it. All right, so that means half of this board goes into the front and half of this board goes into the loop. So let's connect the front first. We don't need this cable because this is our bridge right here between the front and the loop. Let's get rid of that. So we're going straight into the front of the amp from right here. Okay. Next, I need to get my cables to connect the effects loop, which are over here. I'll be right back. Here's the first cable. When you're dealing with pedal boards, right angles are your best friend. If you're like limited on space, you know. So there's my out. That's going to go to the FX return on the front of the amp. And I'll show you the amp, you know, when we have it all hooked up. All right. Now we are going to connect the FX send into the tube screen. So let me grab that cable. There we go. So that is connected to. Last but not least, we're going to connect the foot switch. So I'm using this foot switch. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm using this foot switch. This is just a generic 2-button PV foot switch. We'll see if that works with this amp. Okay, everything's connected. I always get worried when I do stuff like this. What's going to happen when I turn on the amp, right? So be safe. I am going to wear my hearing protection, just in case there's a squeal. Okay, I got my guitar. Put it on. Got my wireless. Plugged it in. Let's turn it on. All right, I think we're good. Okay, it's working. Great. See if I can get the reverb switch working. Okay, so I can't turn the reverb on and off with the foot switch, but I can change channels. Okay, so the effects loop is working. And there we go. So let's go through these and make sure that all of them are set appropriately. So those two are working. Turn on chorus. Okay, that's working. Let's try delay. Sounds awesome. I think that works. Turn on all of it that I would use for a song like that. I think that sounds awesome. Holy cow, that sounds awesome. All right, let's see if our booster works. Whoops, there goes my pick. Got one in my pocket. All right, let's see if the booster works. Oh yeah. Wow, that sounds awesome. All right, let's see if we can get some stuff going with the tube screamer now. God, I love a tube screamer. Uh-oh. What's that buzzing sound coming from? Something's buzzing really bad. All right, let's check out this pedal next. Oh my God. Wow. Okay, well, we got some buzzing, but I'll figure that out. There's really nothing else to go over, guys. This was a very informal video. I know it wasn't as popular because it was a weird subject, but that's it. I am going to fix the speaker mod thing here in the next couple days. But until then, yeah, see you later. Have a good one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.